Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to week number 2 of the Horror Man Slashback Saturday Challenge. This week's slasher movie theme is modern slashers, and I will be giving my review for Hazard Jack. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one, a game of paintball turns into a blood sport in the horrifying slasher movie Hazard Jack. A group of college friends select an abandoned hospital to host their regular paintball war game, not realizing a bloodthirsty maniac stalks its halls. As the players get distracted by drugs and sex, Hazard Jack sharpens his blades. He was once a decorated soldier in Afghanistan, but his return to the United States gave him only unemployment and scorn. Suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, he snaps and seeks vengeance against those who have already forgotten the sacrifices he made for the country. So, he sacrifices them instead. When you play Hazard Jack's game, everyone loses. You don't know Jack, and you don't want to. Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one. With this week's Slashback Challenge theme of modern day slashers, we were simply challenged to watch and review a slasher movie that was released from 2010 all the way up to 2019. So anything from the 2010s. I chose to watch and review Hazard Jack, released in 2014. So this movie has a very simple slasher movie setup. We basically have a large group of friends who participate in an annual paintball war game. They separate up into two teams, a red team and a blue team. They search around to try to find different locations to host their game. It just so happens to be that they find this huge abandoned hospital. So most of the movie takes place in this abandoned hospital, and it's a fantastic set location for a slasher movie. And for the most part, I thought the movie was shot and filmed very well. All the scenes inside the hospital look really good. The only issue I have is a couple of the death scenes are shot from sort of a weird angle, so you don't fully get to see what was going on. So that was a little bit disappointing, but nothing that ruins the movie. So overall, I thought Hazard Jack was a pretty fun and entertaining slasher movie. It was a cheesy and sleazy type of slasher movie, and I enjoyed watching it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the cast of characters we have in Hazard Jack. So we have a pretty large group of friends in this movie, and I figured the best way for me to describe the characters would be to break them down according to what team they're on. Okay, so we have the red team and we have the blue team, and the group of friends are divided up based off their personalities. So we have the blue team, who are more or less your goody two-shoes type characters, and we have the red team, who are more of your sex, drugs, and partying characters. Starting with the blue team, the team name is Willpower. This team consists of our main couple, who seem to be having some relationship trouble, and it's basically because the girl is withholding some information from her boyfriend, and this is doing nothing but confusing him. The next couple are sort of like your nerdy type characters. They're not really used to being in relationships, so they're a little bit awkward with each other, but they do seem to like each other. And rounding out this group is the gay couple. They are the ones who catered the entire group of friends upon arriving at the hospital. So this basically rounds out the cast of characters for the blue team. Next up is the red team. The team's name is Star Power. This team consists of a couple of guys who are best friends, and they have brought along a couple of chicks to hook up with. Rounding out the team would be a guy who's brought a girl along, who he seems to be persuading that he can further her acting career, but she's the type of girl that doesn't really need a whole lot of persuading, because she's basically all over him throughout the entire movie anyway. So that rounds out the cast of characters we have in Hazard Jack. Overall, I thought the acting was pretty decent, at least passable for a slasher movie, and I really didn't have a favorite character, so none of the characters really stood out for me. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is the killer and the kills. So the killer in this movie is a war vet who has come home from Afghanistan. He suffers from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. At the beginning of the movie, he is being fired from his job at a construction site because of bad behavior, and of course this is a slasher movie, so his behavior only worsens as the movie will move forward. The killer is a huge and imposing looking figure. He has a really awesome look. He appears to be wearing a welder's mask. He has a wide variety of murder weapons, such as an axe, a drill, a jackhammer, and a nail gun. So he seems to have endless possibilities of what he can murder his victims with. One thing that I thought was pretty interesting as the credits began to roll on this one is that they put up the definition to post-traumatic stress disorder. And I thought that was really interesting that they did that at the end of a slasher movie. Of course, that is what this movie's storyline centers around, but I just found it to be a little bit odd. But of course, I do understand that this is a serious situation and it does need more exposure. And as far as the kills go, the movie has a pretty decent body count. And with the killer using a lot of different weapons, we have a lot of variety with the kills. There is a lot of blood. And the killer seems to have a thing for decapitating his victims, so that's really cool. Overall, I really did enjoy this movie, but I thought the ending was a little bit weak, and I thought there were way too many people that survived at the end. So overall, I did enjoy watching this one. I'm going to recommend it to slasher movie fans. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen Hazard Jack, or just let me know what you think about my review. And I would like to thank you all for watching.